Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 24. Episode 112 in total, and it's titled Tomura Shigaraki Origin. Shigaraki remembers his first encounter with All for One during the climax of his battle with Redestro. There really should have been a comma after his first encounter with All for One, but that's me and my whole grammar thing. But so in the last episode, we got part of Shigaraki's origins. Basically, how his family life was and when his quirk first activated. And while doing so, we also saw that his quirk, as it is now, is vastly different from when it was at the start of this show, on top of how different that was from when it first activated. Because in the climactic battle with Redestro, I still say that he destroyed his shoes with his feet, though again, that may have been because of how raggedy they were and the force that he used to kick off with. But he also started decaying Redestro's hand using only 2 fingers, not the 5 that was needed at the start of the show. So, yeah, it's going to see what happens after that. Well, for the rest of this battle. But let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Of course it didn't play. See, that is the big problem with society in My Hero Academia. They leave all their problems to heroes because they've had heroes solving all their problems for generations. Like, isn't that the whole point of all of the, well, almost all of the villains, is that the heroes are selfish. They only do it for, like, most of them only do it for fame or money or whatever, and society isn't able to help itself because they just expect someone to save them. Like, and as you just see, kid covered in blood has scratches all over his face and is clearly looking traumatized. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sure someone else will come deal with this. I'll just keep walking." So, like, there is foundation for all their villains' claims and all that. Like, that's the whole thing for the Liberation Army, is getting people to save themselves, using their quirks to help themselves. Now, if that didn't result in so many people dying because of it, from what we've seen, and the fact that it's basically a cult at this point, then it is rather interesting, his quirk, how it has an adverse effect on his body when he doesn't use it. Like how Toga is compelled to drink blood and all that because of her quirk. It's either this unbearable itch and all that, or he decays things. So I don't remember them doing that in the manga, but they showed there exactly which of his family's hands are where. His father's on his face. His mother's are on. I think his mother's are the ones on his neck. Grandma on one side, grandpa on the other. Sisters on the elbows. His father's second one would have been the one on the back of his head, but he broke it. So he now has the mystery one there. He's got two of the crooks here, and I didn't see where the other ones were. But yeah, Shigaraki is apparently All For One's last name. And he's finally shedding the restrictions. Not the restrictions, the restraints that his regret for his family caused. He just slingshotted himself with ice. Claustro. If he dies, he's not a worthy successor. If he survives, he's proven himself. Yeah, if you can't make proper impact, you don't do much damage. He has been. Admiration, respect. I don't know why I'm smiling at Shigaraki leveling up. A, I've seen it before. B, he's so dangerous, but both hate and joy have joy in your destruction caused by your hate. But look at how wide that attack is going. But much like Midoriya, Ida, Bakugo, his body's getting destroyed from overusing his quirk. But he completely destroy. Oh yeah, this is where his hair goes white as well. Because you saw in his flashback, the more he used his quirk, he his hair turned more blue to the point where it was his original color at the after he killed his dad, and now it's gone full white. He is so intimidating that someone whose literal quirk is a rallying cry can't even get people to go against him. Oh, hey, Spinner's there. But, like, here's the thing. I should probably point this out at the end so I'm not talking over this scene, but you saw that his quirk now has a carry-on effect as well, because Redestro's armor touched the ground as he activated it, and even after he flew off, it continued to be destroyed. And then once his feet touched the ground, parts that had already been destroyed, he had to cut them off, otherwise he would have been. But now Shigaraki is the leader of. They spun this in a way that made it look like their ideals were the only reason they were able to hold off long enough. And they spun it so that the League of Villains wasn't even there. he put up a memorial shrine for the Toga clone he used to. Bought twice, couldn't. Yeah, they were complaining about being broke. Now they've got all of the Liberation Army's money. Ah, it's a lot of people. Hmm. He's still mentioning video games. Haven't heard that for a little while. That was a good episode. Like, I know I've been shitting on this season, but I'll say again, with what they are showing, they're showing it well. I still reckon I would have liked to have seen the bit between, well, before the start of this, because, well, right, right now, we're at the point just before where the Endeavor Agency arc started in the manga. I'll, I'll explain once that's done. But yeah, so there was a bit before the My Villain Academia that showed between what was the arc before that? Between the joint training arc and My Villain Academia that showed the villains struggling financially, like they've run out of funds, they're jumping from safe house to safe house, they're going up against rival villain groups that are in a way, even worse than them. Specifically, the anti-mutant quirk one. Basically, they wanted to kill all those with mutation quirks, and the League's like, fuck no, one of our friends is a mutation quirk. We're taking you out, still in your house for a bit. And I would have liked to see all of that because it showed them A at the lowest point, and B, it actually showed that they do care about each other, or at least Shigaraki cares about everyone. Toga cares about them all. Twice cares about them all. Spinner cares about them all. Darby, he acts like a hard ass. In the end, he'd prefer them over anyone else, which I guess is him caring. And Shigaraki cares about them in his own way. Like, it showed that they were basically a family. And they would stick up for their own. And they also weren't racist against the mutant people. Well, mutated people, I really should say. But they didn't show that. They just jumped straight into speed running the start of this arc in a single episode so they could get 4 episodes out of the versus Liberation Army battle. But yeah, but what they have shown from this arc, especially including the extra scenes, because extra content is always good, so long as it makes sense, has been good. It's just, it was structured poorly this season. I didn't agree with them changing the arcs, even though I know this is meant to be because it goes straight into the next arc, instead of showing this, taking a break from all the action to show Midoriya and that training under Endeavor, to then go back to all the action. But it also served as a breather between this and the next arc. And it took way too long. But anyway, it was a very entertaining episode. Shigaraki is now the leader of the Paranormal Liberation Army, with the League of Villains and Trumpet, Skeptic, and Redestro as his lieutenants. And they have all the vast resources that were at the Liberation Front's expenses that they can now use for their expense. So overall, it's very entertaining to watch, and I can't wait to see what the next episode is, because I wasn't paying attention to what the preview said. I was too busy talking. Anyway, with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.